Thank you very much. Tunaweza keti tafadhali. Our senior pastor, Reverend Kimathi, and all the other clergy who are here this morning for CBF. Our main guest, Dr. Wale, my brother, our MP for Nyeri Town, Mheshimiwa DMM, and of course Mrs. Maina, the organizers of this very well organized event, led by my brother Ken Kiora, and all the other organizers who some I have met actually in my office earlier, and all the participants of this forum, this breakfast, and this two-day conference. Good morning. Habari yenu? Muriyega? Asante sana. I am very pleased to come here this morning, and especially as a businessman, more than a politician, because we are here to share about business, entrepreneurship, creating value. I am sure there are other forums for the other hat that I wear in terms of politics. And I am at home completely, because I keep saying that anytime I am reading or interacting in any issue around investments, about business, about entrepreneurship, I feel like I am in holiday. So this morning I have come for holiday here in Nyeri, because talking about money is not something very bad. It is something good. And I want to laud the church, CITAM, for giving us this opportunity as business people, because it is one of the avenues God can bless many of us as Christians. And you know, many of us from Mashinani who were brought up in the village, in a Spartan life, conservative life. I'm an Anglican. To some extent, we may think that talking about money is going off. But I'm glad that every now and then we keep being reminded that even when you read about the Old Testament, God could bless his people even with great wealth, and it is recorded. And therefore, business is one of the ways that God can choose to bless us, and that is our domain this morning. But you allow me, because I am also a representative of the people of Kiharu and Kenya in terms of Parliament, National Assembly. I can hear there are some people from Kiharu here. Asante sana. It is important. I mentioned just in 2 minutes because it is important. In Kiharu, I am glad to be an MP there, and I'm sure, and I'm glad even Honorable DMM has been there. Kiora has been there. And I talk about this because when any part of Kenya develops, then Kenya is developing. When any part of Kenya decelerates, then also Kenya is going backwards. So in Kiharu, through NGCDF of Kiharu, it's a very large constituency. Actually, in terms of land mass, it could be only second from Kieni. We have around 112 public primary schools. 112 public primary schools. And I want to assure you, some of you who follow us on social media, the way they are, all our public primary schools, they are well done, well built, where we needed to build new structures. Where they are old structures, all our classrooms are tiled as a representation of all the other work done. When I say tiling, it's representing all the other overhaul of the work. Also, we have started like 7 new day schools from scratch. But lastly, the program that I'm very proud about is a program we run touching learners in day secondary schools, which we have around 65 including the ones we've started. And we have around 12,500 learners in those day schools in Kiharu. In Kiharu, what we've done is to do what is called backward aggregation. So we have consolidated the amount of budgets our day schools run, and then we try to work out a modality of lessening the burden for learners. So this is the outcome. The outcome is that of all the learners in our day secondary schools in Kiharu, we subsidize the education through CDF and other mechanisms, and learners in Kiharu only pay 1,000 shillings per term in any day secondary school. And where there is remedial teaching, because we would also encourage that, we don't actually permit in excess of 1,000 in the schools where there is remedial. And in that 1,000, learners eat in school from Monday up to Saturday. And they don't eat together every day. We alternate, some rice, some this, some that, some that. And in the last Friday of the month in Kiharu, all day schools, the last Friday of the month, they actually eat chapati for lunch. Including last Friday, which was the last Friday of the month. We do this because we know the primacy of education in shaping society from the household level going upwards. We have also invested over 20 million shillings in buying of revision books for those day schools. We are building laboratories, we are building halls in terms of deepening knowledge and education. I have mentioned that because it is important. It is important because this year alone, because we have 2 sub-counties in Kiharu, it's large. We have over 2,000 students who have come from other areas in Kenya to live with their relatives so that they school in our day schools. And I'm very proud about that. Because we don't ask for ID ya mzazi. Ati tuonyeshe mzazi ni wa hapa, anapiga kura hapa. Once you join our day secondary school, what you are looking for is knowledge. You'll become a voter later. Our business now is education, not about where the parent votes. Let me come back now to the meeting. I'll try to compress so that I actually take less time than I was allocated, so that we can have a time where we can interact with all, even the chief guest. We are here as business people. We are here as entrepreneurs. We are here as investors. But sometimes do you quip to ask yourself, what is the difference? What are you? Because there must be a reason why in the dictionary there is a different word for being a businessman, for being an entrepreneur, for being an investor. Because if it meant the same, then it will be one word or one definition. So this morning, we need to trace ourselves so that we find whether we are in the right locus. But then we know that Nyoro is a politician. Why was he invited? In brief, I actually started business earlier than politics, because in class 6 I had my first kiosk, class 6. And I'm not telling you those stories of I started a big farm with an apple or no. That's not what I'm doing. Out of necessity, from a mud house, from a father who was living in Kiadutu slums in Thika, and a peasant farmer mother, and in a family where the only person who had a car was my uncle, Matano actually. After studying my uncle's life, I actually saw that he never progressed with education so much. So I thought I can take a shortcut like my uncle. Hakuna haja ya kujichosha na masomo. He was driving a KUI, he had never been to high school. So I started my first kiosk, and I could go buy some shopping hapo nyumbani kwetu kwa fence, nikakata nikaeka ka kiosk. Asanti. But of course in class 6, when you have 200 bob in your pocket, there is nothing a mathematics teacher can tell you. So because I could not listen very keenly, my education ikaanza kwenda chini, ama grades. And my godmother mwenye alinisimamia nikibatizwa was my teacher and my village mate called Mrs. Karanja. So at the time wakati my father came from Kiadutu, he used to come over weekends. Kamwambia, your son is good, lakini masomo inaleta